Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy. And another Monday live stream. Hopefully, you guys had some good sales. I can report it was a very strange weekend in that we had great sales. I'm surprised by that because we had a period of literally 27 hours. So I'd say a little bit before the time we did the last live stream, all the way through like Saturday afternoon, we had no sales at all. But on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we had a solid $1,600 weekend. I count Friday in along with Saturday and Sunday for the weekend. So we had a lot of shipping to do between last night and today, and that's a good thing, right? Um, but it's just like you get through, I don't know, about 12, 18 hours of just nothing. I mean, no activity, not even opportunities to send offers to people. And it's like you're just going, you kind of laugh at yourself because there's nothing you can do. I mean, you get out there. What I did is I got out there and just kept listing. And then all of a sudden, Saturday evening, it's like the switch was like flipped on and it would just sale after sale after sale after sale. So I don't know if there's an internal quota that eBay says, okay, there's this much value in their store, so they get this much in sales. I don't know. I mean, it's just weird how we can have all of our listings up and then they're just selling like mad cake, hotcakes, but like a regular day, it's just kind of spaced out. I don't know. It's just one of those things we have to continue to deal with eBay and their glitches. And that's why I put out a video over the weekend, not really focusing on any of that, really more focusing on what are some things that you can do as a seller on this platform. And I know a lot of you don't want to use promoted listings, just have no intention of using it. And the video I put out yesterday was kind of an idea, or actually on Saturday. Well, yes, I did put it out yesterday. Was a just an idea maybe that you can kick around that would allow you maybe just to try out promoted listings with your older, longer tooth items that you just want to get rid of. Maybe instead of lowering the price and jacking up your promoted, not your promoted, but your markdown sale rates. Maybe you can play with the promoted listing a little bit. I mean, not to the point where eBay wants you to, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Before we begin, though, I'm kind of letting everyone kind of roll in. If you're with us today, of course, what I always ask, please contribute to the conversation, comment in the chat, ask your questions in the chat. That's what keeps this program being only a 15-20 minute diatribe for me. If you're not with us today, maybe you couldn't make it, maybe you just don't do lives and you rather watch the replay, well, comment down below. But either way, regardless of how you're watching this program, be sure to hit the like button because it kind of gets the word out to the other resellers who don't know about this channel that we have a pretty cool community here. So the topic that I'm discussing today, and it's pretty straightforward. I think most of you guys know by now that when you do your listings, you're seeing that the suggested rate is going higher and higher. I can recall only months ago that the suggested rate was about maybe 4 or 5%, maybe 6%. Then it went to 7, 8%. Then it was hovering around 10%. Now it's almost every listing that I deal with she's like playing with the remote control with my fan.
Sorry, I need it to oscillate.
But it's show business. You can't be.
I need oscillation.
You can't be doing this. Do it on the slide.
I tried, but there's something blocking the sensors.
Anyway, so it's like over 10%. It's hovering 11, 12%. And, eBay is pitting, pretty much what's happening is, eBay is pitting sellers against one another. And there's many examples of this, but one way is that they're offering sellers the opportunity for maybe a free promoted listings advance. They did that to me last year. Of course, you'd be a fool not to take free, right? But they are offering I hear they're offering if you do 15%, they'll only charge you for half of that, for a limited time, just to try a higher percentage rate. But what it's doing is it's artificially jacking up the recommended rates, because the recommended rates are supposed to be sort of a trend. a trend of what sellers are currently at, or on the average, or I don't know if it's an average or what, but it's as we move our rates higher, so does that recommended rate. And my suggestion is to simply, and there's no earthquake going on, I promise. We haven't put a shelf in above the screen. But my suggestion would be to simply draw a line. Where is your line? My line is at 10%. For me, I think that's enough. They're already getting 13 point something percent on most categories. Some categories are less than that if you don't promote. And then you got an extra 10% is where I'm at. I think I'm kind of there on most because the recommended rates are higher than 10%. But that's where I'm drawing the line, and I'm getting sales. I know promoted listings works, and I think that there's an overkill where, okay, so you're either on top of page one, near the top of page one, maybe 10 listings down on page one is kind of the difference between maybe doing 15% like eBay wants you to do, and maybe maxing yourself at 10%, which is where I'm at. So again, my sales are great, and I have a line drawn, and I think that collectively as sellers, it's not just a thing that one person can do. It's a thing that as sellers, we all need to collectively draw a line and say enough is enough, because eBay won't stop, guys. eBay will not stop at 15%. They get enough people at 15, they're going to get up to 20. And then once 20 seems to work, they're going to keep going. Why do you think they changed it from 1 to 2? Because most people were hanging out at 1%, and they said, hey, what happens if we bring the minimum to 2%? And guess what? They saw an increase in revenue. And all this is not about the seller experience. All this is not about the buying experience. It's about an increase in revenue. If eBay cared about the buying experience, they wouldn't have things like this. And I'm going to show you something here. Kudos to Heather, who sent this information over to me. And we talked about this before. This is not a secret by any means. This is simply what eBay does. And I'm going to present my screen to you guys here. I'm going to share this with you. So as you can see here, we have this innocent looking listing. This is not my listing. It's just an example. But guess what? Here it goes. Before you can even get to the item description, not even the item specifics, similar sponsored items. Boom, right there. And guess what? They're trying to sell this for $79.99. You can see, wow. Someone's going to say, wow, I like that price better. I'm going to click on that. $42, $38, right? And there's even more. Sponsored items customers also bought. So it's trying to get the buyer on the train of, well, you know what? Other buyers bought this one instead. So, maybe they'll buy that $84.98 one, or maybe they'll go over to the $59.98 and save themselves about $20. And then, it starts talking about the item and everything like that. This is a problem. They're pitting sellers against one another, and it's not right. And I don't think it should happen. Now, of course, what can we do about it? There's nothing we can do about it except draw a line. Where do you draw a line? Is it 15%? I think that's a little too high. That's, of course, it's not my business. How you handle your business is how you handle your business. But at the end of the day, the more money you decide to use as a promoted rate, the less profit and margin you're going to see. And, I could do 10% because I buy for such a low price and I flip it for, usually 10x is kind of where I'm at. And for me, it works great. But, if eBay had their way, I would be giving them more and more and more. And even having a good sourcing model like I found about 6 months ago, that would dry up because, eBay is making it unattainable to sell on this platform for most people. If we're being honest about it, if we're being honest with ourselves. And I think a lot of people are beating themselves up, and they're doing everything they can. And yet eBay is asking more and more and more. And I just think enough is enough. But we can do something by standing up and deciding that we're going to draw a line find a number that works for you and just stick with it. That's what I'm doing. And that's kind of my call to you guys is to don't go to 15. Don't go to 20. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, in no world, there's no selling platform that charges 30 something percent. I just think greed is contagious, and I think it gets out of hand, and eBay is going to continue to take what you allow them to take. So that's my diatribe. Jenna's out there dealing with the U.S. mail, and I'm not sure if that was FedEx or not, but they're a little busier, so they probably will come to the door here again. So we'll see. Let's see who we have with us today. We have Biscuit Butt is in the house. What's up, FAA fam? I'll be lurking today while cleaning my train wreck listing area. Yep, can't let your listing area be a train wreck. And I heard a rumor that Archie's starting his channel up again. What's that? I don't know. You have to check it out. Check his channel out here, and maybe it's today, maybe it's tomorrow, but he might be dropping a new video here pretty soon. We have Brian H. says, hello, John, Jenna, and everyone. How you doing, Brian? And that stranger's in the house. Hello. Picky Ricky's had his best ever sale today. Sold a Commodore 64 floppy disk game for 175 pounds. Not bad for, that's a great flip for 2 pounds and 175. That's roughly like, was it like 250 to US dollars to almost 200. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That stranger says, I've noticed the recommended rate being as high as 15% when listing, but I'm still capping mine at 10%. I've not been promoting until the new listing status goes away, and stuff often sells first. Yes. I mean, you got to figure out that for yourself. For some people, 3% is it, and I don't blame you. But my thought is find the amount that you get consistent sales. I am sure that if you promoted 15%, you might see some more sales, but how much more are you going to see over than what you're currently promoting? Is it worth driving up the entire promoted rate for the community? I know that I'm not going to get this message out to every seller out there. We're just a drop in the bucket collectively, but it has to start somewhere, you know. And I know I'm partially guilty. You know, I come on here and I start talking about, you know, you guys should be promoting your listings, because if you're not promoting your listings, you're not being seen. And that's the truth. But hopefully, you know, by sharing that I'm capping at 10%, that there's a point where it's just too much. And I think, you know, you got to figure that out for yourself. Real quick, I want you guys to be careful about first class. It's currently, she's playing with the remote again.
It turned off.
Okay.
It's 110 outside.
You gotta have the right touch. So, okay, we know that ground advantage is here. Okay, and on Saturday, I believe it was a hot mess for a lot of people who were running their labels. The prices for the labels weren't right. There were people, Mr. J. Scott out there. I know you're probably listening. But there's people like that out there who decided that they were going to get nasty. You know, they're going to try to attack the messenger. How I was advising on the Friday Live that, you know, here's what's going to happen. Here's what's supposed to happen. And I guess eBay, anybody surprised that there's a glitch or a problem with something they're trying to roll out? We have a new rate structure, and people were finding that, wow, the rates are just way out of whack. And so this particular person just thought they would do wise to themselves by attacking me. But all it did was lead to me, you know, blocking them from being able to comment. But it's like, you know, I'm here to try to give out information as I know it, as I read it. And I have no control over eBay and how they implement new things, which we've seen in the past. It usually isn't good when they try to implement things that are new. And, you know, it's just, we're here to help each other. I'm here to try to give out information, and there's just no place for it, you know, to be snarky and stuff like that. So, sorry, Mr. J. Scott, but there's other channels for you. There's other channels out there for you that'll tolerate your trolliness. That's not even a word, but we've made it up one today. So, another thing, with first class, be careful. It's still an option in eBay labels. Okay. If you have a 2-pound item, it's still showing you a first class rate. And first class is technically only up to 15 ounces, but eBay allows you to go up to a pound through their label system. And if you're running your labels for first class for, let's say, 2 pounds, I don't know how eBay is going to handle that. They may accept it as just the ground advantage package and let it go through. But, if you can help it, there's a ground advantage option usually right above it. Avoid hitting the first class option from here on out, just to save yourself that. And guess who's back? Anybody want to guess who's back?
I got one guess. Jack's back.
Jack came back.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, Jack. Appreciate you, man. Hey, found out that if I leave a reply to feedback already left, that I get more buyers leaving feedback. Is that a top tip? No, I don't think so. eBay likes to harass the buyers into leaving feedback, so they'll give pop-ups all the time. I just bought some supplies. By the way, use your supply coupons for the new quarter. If you have a store for your supplies, I mean, might as well. You can get most of your supplies, even if it's a $25 coupon, you can get a 25 pack of boxes only for a few bucks out of pocket, that type of thing. But they wanted me to leave feedback. Okay. And I'm like, okay, fine. I received it. I'll leave feedback, but it's just these pop-ups that come up when you're just doing your basic stuff, harassing you. And I think that's what it is. Buyers are just getting that pop-up. And I don't think it's any more frequently, regardless of what you do. I think replying to feedback does give, it's a professional look, right? It tells the buyers, the potential buyers, that you care, that you interact with the comments. I know that I look at feedback when I'm buying from people. A lot of people don't, but I do. There's a percentage of us that do, and I think it's just a good look. You're going to say something?
You already said it.
So you concur? I want to hear you say I agree.
No.
I can't even get her to do that. So, but Jack, thanks for coming back, and I appreciate you. Thank you for that. And you don't have to leave a super chat to ask a question. Certainly don't want you to feel that way, but thank you. It's very much appreciated. Let's see what else we have here. We've got a lot of sidebar. A lot of this is stuff before I came on, but I like to get to it because a lot of the content is pretty good stuff. Truman 316 says, hello all. Hello, John and Jenna. I hope everyone has a trouble-free weekend. I had trouble-free weekend. I have my tinfoil hat on just in case. It's just one of those things. It's hard to say. My inner thought is when I'm dealing with slow sales, it's like if I get in there and start listing, I know that I'm going to get sales. It's just weird, and it just seems to happen. When I'm gone, I'm trying to enjoy myself. I'm not listing. It seems that's where eBay tries to punish me. And I know that's not a thing. It's just in the back of my mind. There is no eBay bot, linked to your account trying to punish you due to lack of activity or that type of thing. You just have to just keep grinding. Forget how much you've made that day. Your activity, your focus should be the same whether you're making $20 that day or $1,000 that day. It shouldn't change. You shouldn't let up off the gas if you got a good sale day. Just keep plugging away. I know it's sometimes easy to say, I made a great sales day today, I'm gonna just kind of sit back and relax. But you don't want to take that mentality. I think it puts a lot of pressure on you when things aren't going so well. Let's see if we got Sandra's in the house. Hello all, great day. Got $250 for an item I paid for $8 for. Yay. I bought it without knowing what it was worth. Only been listed a few days. Sometimes you can take chances like that, I guess. If something looks like, maybe, it looks like it has some potential, but you're not quite sure. And even with that type of buy, you kind of want to draw a line. I come across that kind of thing all the time where I'm sourcing and I'm like, I'm not sure. I don't see a lot of sold comps, if any, but this type of thing looks like it has promise, but I don't want to be caught up in, holding the bag at the end of the day and thought, well, maybe I can turn this $8 item into, 5X at least, and then find out that it's just one of those items that's still sitting on my shelf. But I'm glad it worked out for you. I sure am. I've learned many times going to, especially yard sales, this is where it happens, because it's more of an impulse type thing. And you don't want to whip out the phone in front of the person that's standing there and, to bring up that conversation, or what are you doing? How much you looking up, how much it's worth. I've done that before. And, they've said, hey, go ahead and look it up, and it's like, well, I am, but, it's just one of those things. You just got to be very careful. And those kind of buys can kind of hurt you if you're not hitting a home run like you did here. So Jovial Juggler says, had a buyer message me asking to lower the price on a pair of shoes. Stated he would have to pay almost $80 in VAT fees. Wow. I'm not sure. Maybe, Picky Ricky or some of the others can kind of explain how those VAT fees work. I'm not
VAT fee.
Value-added tax, I believe it's what that means. And that is, like a lot of countries, like an import fee. So someone's getting that item in the UK, they order it from the United States, and they have to pay the fee on top of what they've already paid. Import taxes. Picky Ricky says, Global Shipping wanted to charge £32 shipping on a puzzle to another British island today, for example. Wow. Yeah.
That's why we don't do international.
Well, we do have international set. We have international set but not GSP. What you guys know as GSP, it's the eBay's international shipping program, where you simply ship the item to eBay and they take care of the rest. But in being able to do that, eBay jacks up the rates for the buyer. And I think while it's a good program, I think that can scare a lot of buyers away, by the, it's like, okay, this $20 item is going to cost me $30 to have it shipped to me. Why would, now they have to either really, really need it or really, really want it, or they're going to pass. Let's see.
Yeah,
Leonard
said that is a 20%.
Yeah, that's not good. Leonard's in the house. Hi from very rainy New Hampshire.
Rainy. Oh, I wish we had some rain.
Love rain. We were out and about at the outlets out here, and we walked by one of those misters, and it felt so good.
Yeah.
I could use some rain.
It's supposed to be 118 this weekend.
We got Dixie Flipper. Hey, John and Jenna, hope that things are going well. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, that's all you can do. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it's some weeks is going to be easier than others. Art says, hello, everyone. Thanks for being here, Art. Let's see. Jovial says, 2 best days a boat owner has: the day they buy it and the day they sell it. I ain't buying a boat anytime soon, I'll tell you that. Ping G's here. Hello, John and Jenna and everyone in the chat. Thanks for being here, Ping. Janet's here from Georgia.
Keena's here.
Keena's here. She's saying hi to everyone else, though.
Yeah, she's also ready to pounce on whoever's leaving nasty comments.
Uh-oh. Well, it's one of those things where if you have a wrench, if you're a moderator, you can pick out people that are being kind of nasty or whatever. And
even on other videos, and if the comments are nasty, you just get rid of them.
I don't know if mods can do that. Can they do that on other videos?
I think it's just lives. Or lives. I said videos, but I meant lives.
Yeah. And, it's like this. I don't want to give anyone the boot. In fact, I think this Jay Scott character who's out there probably right now watching, left a remark about last week saying, don't mean to, offend you, but, and I was cool with that. I mean, you're going to preface it with that. I don't mind answering hard questions if, and questions that maybe are kind of at me a little bit, but if it's done in a way where it comes off as just being quite frankly rude and just, I'm not here to mislead anyone, right? The goal of the channel isn't to try to get clicks. So I'm just going to start telling you things just to get the clicks and, to get you to waste your time watching my content. It is to read what, like in this case, USPS has to say, or maybe e-commerce bites has to say, and kind of report it to you guys. And it's not my fault if something else happens. But, as I reported, I believe, though, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Ground Advantage, those rates are now been corrected. I ran some ground advantage labels this morning, and the rates didn't seem to be too out of whack. So I want to know what you guys had experienced today when it comes to that. So let's see. Flippin' Con Marco says, hey, John and Jenna, the rest of the FA fam, hope everyone has an awesome weekend. Nice hairdo, Jenna. Am I missing something?
My hairdo is whack.
Why does everyone keep asking, wishing me a happy weekend when we've already passed the weekend? It's Monday.
Week.
Now,
I know it says weekend.
yeah, it says weekend. So I'm like, are we getting another one that I wasn't aware of? I'll take it.
Is today a holiday?
Yeah, I don't know. They came and got the mail. Jackie Bleckner says, hello. Thanks for being here, Jackie. We got Bill York here. Jovi says, Jenna, you look tiny today. Tiny?
I'll take that.
Tiny?
Tiny.
Let's see. Josh Galt says, smash that thumbs up. Yes, please do. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Mark Suddick says, if you buy from eBay seller and they listed the item new sealed, when you get it has been opened before and may be used, the seller won't take a return. Can eBay step in and get you refunded? Well, that's item not as described. Simply put, if they say it's new, it's not new. You open up a return, item not described. eBay is going to force them to take the return. And if it's one of those sellers that are adamant that they don't take returns, they're going to maybe ignore that. And after 3 business days, eBay is going to side in your favor, and you get the refund and you'll get to keep the item. And that has happened. Right? You see a lot of these posts that pop up, like on Facebook or whatever, where people are like, eBay ripped me off. They stole my money. No, you didn't pay attention to your account. For one, whether or not the buyer is opening up a false INAD, item not as described, that's neither here nor there. Once that happens, you have to answer to that return request, and you can't just leave it there. Otherwise, the buyer is going to win every time. So open up an item not as described return, and be prepared to send it in once the seller sends you over a label. Item not described is going to be a label the buyer is going to have to, the seller is going to have to pay for, and send it back in. Art says, Friday after the live was my best day ever. Oh, wow, interesting. Cool. For us, it was just like crickets.
Good. You must have hit the like button.
Yeah. For us, it was absolute crickets until Saturday afternoon.
Not on my account.
Not on your account. That's just, I don't know what it is. I mean, you could talk about servers and stuff like that. I think we guess. I think other channels sometimes guess. I've guessed. We can all guess. We talked about the algorithm. We guess. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It may be true. There may be some truth to it. But eBay is not going to come on out and tell us, hey, by the way, 20% of our sellers, their listings aren't able to be seen because we've taken those servers down. They may have done that, but I'm going to act like everything. That's the only way you can act is everything is okay, because you start now being motivated or demotivated by no sales, thinking that it's all eBay's fault. And I'm an avid believer that there's going to be problems with this particular website. I think we've all seen it. But we have to be in control of our own outcome, and even through like a bad weekend. This was a bad weekend for traffic. It was just a bad weekend. 27 hours of no sales. I could just imagine how much better it would have been. But at the end of the day, the sales came rolling in when the switch was flipped, and I'm happy for it. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just going to keep going and move on. Flip for Profit says, it's part of doing business. Think if you had to start your own website. Yeah, I mean, if you did the Shopify, okay, if you did Shopify and had your own site, you're not going to be able to just say, flipitforprofit.com, boom, you have all your stuff out there, and the sales are going to come rolling in. No one's going to even know you exist. Okay, there's a sea of shops right now out in Google land on the internet where they have 0 to no sales because they do not promote their store. So that is the name of the game. You're going to have to pay Google now to promote your store in their search, and that's going to cost I don't necessarily know it's going to be on an average of 20+% per sale you make, but you're still going to have to pay up if you want your store to be seen. And that's why you won't catch me doing it. That's why you'll still catch me on eBay. Mercari's, in my opinion, is probably fundamentally a better site. Bonanza, I think, at this point, is, if you've ever seen Bonanza, it's fundamentally it's not a bad looking site. It doesn't seem to be full of glitches.
We haven't spent enough time on it to know.
Well, I know that I haven't had any sales, but what I'm saying is I'm only here for the traffic. I mean, I would have been gone a long time ago if the traffic was on par with Mercari, but the traffic is still here. And until that day comes where it's like we are on Bonanza, then I'm going to continue to sell on eBay. Sherry Young says, "Hi all, got my package with a wonderful note. My grandkids stole the goodies from me. I got to keep the note. Might be worth something in the future." LOL. No. Good kindling though. Just joking. But I'm glad that they enjoyed I think you got the little summer bottle with the bottle opener and sunglasses. Yeah, that's cool. Well, thank you for letting us know that you got it okay.
Yeah, thank you. And what about I thought we were going to give away the...
You know what? We did not hear. Look, this every day meshes into one another. I mean, it's just weird how that works now. Ever since we stopped working for someone else, it's like Mondays turn into Tuesdays, they turn into Wednesdays.
Well, that's why our viewers think that they're saying,
I guess,
have a great weekend.
I guess so. But we're going to do it soon. And I want to get with Mike anyway. And I don't know if he's on with us today.
Yes.
But I want to get with Mike.
Also, happy birthday, Mike.
Is it Mike's birthday?
Not today. He celebrated one over the weekend.
Wow.
I wish we would have known.
I wish we would have known. Well, darn it. How did you find out?
Because he said it was a nice 68th birthday.
Gee. Well, happy birthday, Mike. Darn it. Geez. Glad to hear that you're here with us, though. Gail Carlson says, "Hello, John and Jenna. Thanks for being here."
Hello.
We have Ashley VL says, "I just used the new Ground Advantage feature today on a few sales I had. So far, no difference from USPS first class." And that's what I noticed today as well. The rates seem to be in line with everything. But from what I understand, if you were trying to run your labels yesterday, well, not yesterday, but on Saturday, you were finding a much higher rate. So thankfully they fixed it, right? Devon Short says, "Please hit the thumbs up, guys. We have 164 people watching. Hit that thumbs up, and you're going to get a sale in the next 24 hours. Just don't ask me how or why. It's just kind of a thing. It's just like a karma thing floating in the air. You hit
Silver Hair Stacker already got his sale.
Gee. Yeah. Biff says, "I stopped trying to unravel glitches. I'm just pretending I'm back in year 2 doing year 2 numbers. I did promote the bottom 20% of my store, lowest priced items." Yeah. And in that example I gave in the video, if you didn't watch over the weekend, it was one of those things where if you don't use promoted listings, take your worst or the item, your longest tail items that you have in your store, and try 2%. See what happens. Give it a week or two. And then after a week or two, bump it up to 3, and then keep bumping it up until you hit that number. For me, it's 10%, but whatever you is probably different. And you're going to possibly move some of those items. You're going to maybe be more encouraged to use promoted. I think promoted is a good tool. Okay. I think promoted is a good tool the way they have it set up. Do I think the program's good? No. I think it's a money grab. But we're playing within the rules that eBay has set. And so I think if eBay is saying this is what's going to get you the sales, it makes no sense to not use that program if you're struggling with your sales. So check out that video if you want to kind of get more information on what I was talking about and all that. Mary McQuain says, "I was watching the replay of your last live and looked at my watch and was like, whoa, I'm actually going to catch one live." Checking in from Dublin, Ohio. Well, thank you for being here, Mary. That's nice of you for dropping in. We like seeing new faces, and even if you're kind of dropping in and you're not the kind of person that would go in and chat, just drop in and say hi. We like to hear from you. Steve's in the house. Big head blocking the sensor. That was me. Yeah.
Yes. Which button is
I think
oscillating?
the way this is, we have it on the wall. There's a plastic piece sort of in the way. I don't know why they designed it that way. It's like a bar that you just would pull yourself up, but it's you want it oscillating?
Yeah.
That's this button here. So I got this great fan, and it is right. It's right underneath my AC vent. So for whatever reason, we have the AC running in here. It's hot, but this fan, it blows it really good. It really cools the room down, and it's not that loud. You guys probably can't even hear it. Sarah says, hi from Texas. I was asked to provide feedback to eBay expressions regarding a recent listing I created on the promo listing rate topic, typically 9 to 13%. Yeah, and that's the thing. Anytime you're able to give feedback, I'd say that's one thing I would actually repeat, is that the suggested promoted rates are just too high. And this is another problem. There's a lot of people who go to these seller check-ins, and what do? They're rah. They're like pro eBay. They're like, saying all these positive things. And there's nothing wrong with being positive, but if I feel like I'm one of the only ones in there asking the tough questions,
and they ignore him.
Sometimes they do something, or they give me a word salad answer that means nothing. Yeah. And it's just, if they had enough pressure from sellers, in that, wow, we're getting a lot of questions, a lot of negative feedback about the way we're utilizing promoted listings, I really think it would go a long way. I think there's a lot of people who are skeptical of that. That doesn't matter. They're going to keep pushing the envelope. But I'd like to think that they are asking us for our feedback. And if we're saying, maybe commenting on something else that's less important, I think we should all be, whenever given the opportunity, to comment on these suggested promoted rates being way too high. And if they get enough negative feedback on that, I'd like to think they'd reconsider. But I mean, what else can we do as sellers? We have to keep making it known how we feel about these things. Yeah. Keena says, John trying to block the sun, climate change.
I was outside bleaching. I was outside 5 minutes. I was bleaching a t-shirt, and literally I'm sunburnt on my back already.
Yeah.
It's incredibly hot.
And she was a programming note here too, because that shirt thing has a lot to do with she's going to go with her sisters, not this weekend, but next weekend. And the thought was she was going to fly out to California.
I gotta cancel my tickets.
Yeah, you got time. They give you 10 minutes before check-in with this particular fare. So we decided that we're going to drive up there, and that means that I'm going to see my eye doctor on that Friday the 21st. So we're probably going to have the live on Thursday the 20th instead. But I'm going to go out there, have a little time with the friends playing golf while she's out with her sisters. She's going to be out in LA for the weekend, so doing her thing. So we just drive out there and make it a weekend, right? So that's kind of fun. Callie Deb says, hi, John and Jen and everyone. Well, thanks for being here, Callie Debs.
Callie Debs.
Savage Pickers says, hello and all happy summer.
Hi.
Yeah, it is a happy summer. It's just...
It's a good summer this year.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean...
a little more positivity.
It's okay.
A little more positivity. Hot. Okay. Aside from the heat, it's been a good summer.
Yeah. Woody Hayes says, start selling on other platforms, make eBay compete as well. If you only sell on eBay, blame yourselves. And that's another thing I've been trying to tell you guys for the longest time. Cross post your listings. Mm-hmm. And while we work with our sponsor, Prime Lister, there's a link down below. If you want to try them, you get 14 days to try it out, 100 listings, and you don't even have to give a credit card to try them out. But there's other companies out there as well. But get your listings on other platforms in front of other eyes. There's people that maybe shop on Mercari that just say, you know what, I've had a bad experience on eBay. I don't even want to deal with eBay. There's maybe people who sell on Poshmark or buy from Poshmark that have had great experiences but won't buy on eBay. So you got to get your stuff over to these other platforms. Now, if you're killing it on eBay, why would you? Like for me, the items in my main store, I'm not cross-posting. I don't need to. I'm promoting, of course, because that's part of my formula, but I'm not cross-posting those. On our second account, it's, I think at a one sale per day for every 200. It's not very good. Maybe one for every 300. It's really a low sell-through rate. So on something like that, you're going to get your items in front of other buyers by putting it on Mercari, Poshmark, right? That works for us, and I'm sure it's going to work for you. It's going to take you, a little bit more effort. And I think that's another thing. People want to put minimal effort and get great results. Well, reselling is getting tougher. It's not as easy as it was a couple of years ago. You have to compete even more so than you had a year ago to get the same sale. So this is just one way, like Woody's saying, get your items on other platforms. And there's good tools that I wouldn't do it manually. I'd do it if you're getting a tool, one of the 3 or 4 companies that like Prime Lister, and get your stuff out there. And you're going to start making unless you just have really, really stuff that people don't want, which could be possible. But that is an avenue to get more sales. That's for sure. Picky Ricky says, my line is 0 when it comes to promoted. but the thing is, I think what's happening is eBay is very slowly. It's a slow death. They're killing the small reseller very slowly. And I think they're doing it through promoted. I really think they're doing it through things like this. They're putting other people's listings in our listing before they even get to finish looking at our listing. And they know that there's a certain population that won't promote at all. And I think they're slowly pushing those folks out, which is why I'm saying if you want to succeed in this platform, you're going to have to play their game, just the way it is. Let's see. We have Biff says, if eBay's technical problems don't push people to other platforms, the increased promoted listings rates will do the rest. It will, because it's going to make it to the point where only the sellers that are promoting are going to get the sales at some point. Okay. Logically, you have 2 items. One is going to yield them 13 point whatever %, which is a standard non-promoted listing. And the other items, very similar, same price point. It's going to get them an extra 5 to 10%. And you do that over a large scale of listings. What listings do you think eBay is going to support more than the others? They're already putting those promoted listings in your listings. So let's say you're doing 0%. You're even further behind the 8 ball, because here I am. I have my 10% listing. It's going to pop up right underneath your main photo before they can even look at your item description. How does that make you feel? And the eBay says, this is not your platform. This is not your listing. You're just using the space to advertise your item. We can use it however we want. That's in their terms and conditions. But how does it make you feel when you just want your buyer to read the item description, look at what you've put in there to determine if your item is what they're looking for, and they're putting eye candy underneath your listing for them to click away and to never be seen again? That sucks. And eBay is slowly but surely pushing sellers away. And if you think that's the end of it, I think you're mistaken. It's only going to get gradually worse, a little bit at a time, until the people just give up and decide to walk away. Lawrence Trombley says, in business policy, it doesn't say ground advantage. It says parcel select / ground advantage. Is that the right one? That is the right one. Yes. I don't know why. I don't know even why that they put parcel select in there as an option, but yeah, that's the one you want. Maya Koyama says, hey, yeah, if you sell clothes and shoes, it's almost on par with Poshmark fees after you pay the promoted listing fees. Poshmark is at about 20%. I believe they're at 20%. But from our experience in selling the shoes, you can get a little bit more than you can on eBay for these same shoes. So for instance, if we have a pair of shoes that is selling for $20 on eBay, we have it for like 25 to 30 on Posh, right? Maybe sometimes even more.
Yeah, I always, when I'm cross listing, I always adjust the fee up higher.
So
I usually only like to do like $5 more, but sometimes I do $10 more.
Yeah. And I guess the argument can be made, look, I can promote 25% and jack it up $10. But I think that Buyers are a little savvier than that. If they see that it's too far overpriced and a few listings down is a more reasonable price, I think that's going to drive them to the next listing anyway. So Ernie says, I sold an item to someone in Germany today, changed shipping policy to Advantage. International shipping still showed first class and not Advantage. So international, if you're doing your own international shipping, it'll say international first class, USPS first class. I don't think you're going to see it say international USPS for ground advantage, because that's not part of the program. International first class is different than what we used to know domestic USPS first class. So on that scale, expect to see international first class as an option, not international ground advantage, because it wouldn't even make sense to call it ground advantage, because you can't ship items by ground to other countries. It has to be through air or, heaven forbid, boat. I don't know if they even do that, but that would take forever. So yeah, that's the difference between the two on that. Yaz A says, I noticed that recommendation rates are 5 points higher. I've had no sales in a week, 2 stores. Yes, you're right. It's totally manipulated. So sick of the greed. No other site does this. No, they don't. Yeah. But people, you got to go to these. You got to go to these seller check-ins, because you'll see it for yourself. It's just like a bunch of people that are happy to be there, and they're not asking the tough questions. That it's like, this is your opportunity. How come you're not? And and you see maybe a few, but it's more just happy sellers. Is everyone out there that happy about these rates and what eBay's doing? Because it doesn't seem. I mean, eBay is getting that impression. If you show up to these things just not wanting to be that guy or gal, and I'm just going to be positive, I ain't going to say what I'm really thinking, then that's what eBay is going to think. They're going to think that everything's all right. Backyard Mowing says, rates are getting out of control for sure. Truman says, I would gladly pay 15%, but eBay is consistent as flu fart on their message. What's a flu fart? I've never had one of those. I don't know if I'd rather have a fever. I think I'd rather have a bad fever than a flu fart. Their policies and their account maintenance. Yeah, I think I draw the line at 10% and never again think about a flu fart again. Laura says, Posh platform is too social for me. Don't like that share button. That's why I like the feature that's on Prime Lister. You just go in when you're done, cross posting. Let's say you're going to go outside and, do something, or you're going to go in the garage and list. You just run that little feature, and it shares your closet with people who are watching, right? Your followers. And I think that is a way you can definitely generate sales. And yeah, you got to play. You could do the follow game where you click all these things. We did that for a long time.
You can automate that too.
No, you can automate for new followers. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I didn't know that. So you could do a lot of that and put a lot of that stuff off as automated. And I'm not sure if the other tools do it, but Prime Lister, click the link down below if you want to give it a try. That's all I can do is tell you to give it a try, tell you where to go, and if it's worth using that tool beyond the free 14-day period, then certainly give it a try. I know a lot of people have, and we do it. We're definitely a year and a half strong using Prime Lister with that feature. Jackie P says, the issue I have with it is I feel like I have to raise my prices to cover fees and promote it, which is unfair to our customers.
Right.
Yeah, it is. But if you're raising prices and other people aren't, what does that mean? I mean, you're going to have to deal with someone who's not willing to go through and do a search by price. They're going to use the best match search. They're going to see your listing near the top, and maybe they're happy with it and they're not going to look any further. But if someone's looking, if they're price sensitive, is what we used to call it where I used to work. If you can gauge that most people are price sensitive, they're going to look beyond your listing and find something that's cheaper. Sonny, hey, Sonny, Las Vegas, thanks for dropping by. Hit me up, man. We'll do a live together or something. Sherry Young says, race to the bottom on our prices while it's a race to the top on promoted. And see, that's a balancing game. Your prices versus, how much are you going to lower the prices? I lower prices all the time. I see, maybe an item sold for $75. Maybe a couple of them sold around that. I'm going to try $75. After a couple weeks of not being sold, I'm trying to get rid of that. So I'll move it down in small increments gradually. But my promoted listing rates are still going to be the same. I still want that promoted. And that's why it's so key to be into your items for a low amount. It gives yourself the ability to do that. Andy's in Indiana still and in the house. So thanks for being here, Andy. Yaz says eBay is killing itself with promoted. It's why people are leaving. I'm selling on other platforms. So eBay lost those sales. But I think that's what eBay's counting on. Why would they knowingly do things to push away the small seller? Yeah. That's what built eBay in the first place, is the small seller. And here they are turning their backs on the small seller. It's almost like, we're going to do everything short of closing your account. We're just going to make it more difficult for you to stay and try to make it work. And that's sad. I don't consider myself a small seller in that, based on what I'm making now. Last year, I guess you could say I was a small seller. We're making 30-something% more month over month now than we did last year. But I guess I'm going to keep playing the game because the money's still coming in. I don't care if they implement some other crazy feature. If it doesn't hurt my ability to make the money, and that's why most of us do it, right? I haven't really met too many people that do it because I don't care about the money. I'm just having fun. Maybe there are, but I'm not one of them. That's for sure. I enjoyed what I do, but it's all about the money. Laura says, wish someone would come up with a new selling platform, like something totally new. Yeah.
Yeah. It would take a while to get the traction and the traffic that we need, that we already get on eBay. I just wish they would start promoting more to the younger generations, because younger kids don't know about eBay. They don't. And it's because eBay doesn't advertise. They don't.
Yeah. eBay Motors, you see that all day long. But what kid of this generation, what Gen Z, what Gen Z person is really looking for auto parts for their?
Are we Gen Z?
No, we're Gen X.
All these gens, I don't
know.
There's
Gen X, millennials,
there's
and
Gen
Z.
How about that?
Okay. You're in your own generation, huh? So yeah, they have to do a better job with that. But think about it though, Laura. They've introduced new sites. Mercari,
Posh,
Grail, Depop. How come those sites aren't blowing up? How come those sites haven't yet taken over eBay? That's a question to ask. So the sites are there, but why is eBay not out of business? That's a good question to ask. I don't know the answer to it, but
what happens when, I hate to say it, but all the, people of our generation and up that do shop on eBay are gone.
Well, I guess eBay's banking on we're going to be around a little longer, I guess. Mary McQuain says, I just sell on Mercari now, and you have to scroll all the way down past the description to see similar items. And that's the way it should be. Mm-hmm. It should be. I just think it's rude. It's sort of like going to someone's yard sale and setting up a table in front of their driveway, in front of the stuff they have there, and you're selling your stuff, right? What do you think your neighbor would think of you if you did that? It's like, you're trying to have your own yard sale, ain't nobody coming, so you go over there, you set up a table right in front of theirs, and think it's cool. Well, that's what eBay's doing to us. Picky Ricky says 80% of eBay items are new items. Us resellers are already at a disadvantage on the platform. But there's a lot of people that don't want to pay new prices. They're okay with a used thing, right? It meets their purpose if they can save a few bucks. Otherwise, I think they'd stick to Amazon. Now, of course, there's used items on Amazon, but I think that's why people come to eBay, is because they can buy those used items. Mm-hmm. Mad Hatter's Boutique says you can promote more percentage all day, but if your item is not great, overpriced, expensive shipping, you still won't get the sale. If you have a good items price, they will sell. They will. Right. They will. I put a little post in the community today. It wasn't meant to be a brag. It wasn't meant to hate on anyone else who's struggling. And it certainly, it wasn't meant to be any negative thing. It was mainly to say you shouldn't make excuses. If you're putting it out, if you've done everything you can, I mean, and there's so many things you can do as a seller to change your circumstance, from your sourcing to your listing, to your pricing, to your photos, to your title, you name it. You keep going. How you promote, then you can now say there's reasons, right, why you haven't made sales, but you can't use excuses like eBay and how this is down and maybe a server's out and this, that, and other thing. You can't control that. You should be focusing on the things you can control. Like Mad Hatter says here, you got to get good stuff. You have to have good quality listings and good quality items to sell. Mom Knows Treasures says, hi, well, thanks for being here. And then Flip for Profit says you can put a cap on the amount you will agree to. So I have a campaign set up. Now, a lot of people think I'm an idiot for doing this, and that's fine. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people think. As long as I'm getting those sales, I'm hitting the goal that I set for myself a year and a half ago that I didn't really think was that attainable. And it's starting to happen. I'm getting $500 days. Just had one today. And I haven't done diddly squat other than list today. Had a solid $500 day, and my goal is tomorrow to be the same way, to maintain that now. And I'm doing it by playing the game, and I have mine capped off at 10%. So you set up a campaign. Yeah, we're at 466. So I'm sure a sale's going to roll in by the time we're done here. But
it's not over.
You can put a cap on, like mine is 10%. It's like I told you, that's my line. Where's your line? I'm going to set it up to where probably most of my listings are going to be at 10% because the suggested rate continues to go higher. But I promise you, if all of us kind of look at what we're into the item for and to determine what our cap is, some people it's 3%. That's cool. Long as that cap is somewhere over 2, because that's where everyone else is, then you're playing the game and you're going to get more favor, I believe, with eBay than if you didn't play the game. Sunny says my ad rate max is 3% for items 60 days plus listed. It works for me. So it's kind of like the video I put out over the weekend where, maybe you just want to organically sell on eBay. Okay. You don't want to play this game. So you put out stuff, and if you have stuff people are looking for, they're going to buy it. You're not going to be hit with that promoted fee. But now you've had that item in your store for 2, 3, 4 weeks. Maybe it's a month. Maybe that's where you start looking at getting things moved. And now you start assigning, maybe put an asterisk on those items in your SKU, or maybe just know what date that was listed in your SKU. And now I'm going to take all those items that are 30 days old. I'm going to assign a promoted rate. Maybe it's 2%. Give it another week or two. And now you know that that's been promoted for 2 weeks. Now I'm going to put it at 3, then 4, then 5. And then now, I mean, look, after 2-3 months, that item's still there. Now you got to wonder, is this thing even desirable by anybody? I think we have a lot of us, including us, have stuff in our store that's been sitting there for months. And honestly, if you're being honest with yourself, all we're doing is
honest. All right, it's crap.
We're waiting for the unicorn buyer. That's it.
That unicorn buyer ain't coming.
Yeah, we're waiting for the unicorn buyer. That's just the truth of it. And I think most of us are guilty of that in some way, shape, or form. Sonny says Archie needs to get his channel going back again and not stop this time. Yeah,
we agree.
He's got to, just like with eBay, you got to find that motivation. You got to find to keep going. There's days I don't want to make videos. There's days I don't want to get out there and list, but I know it's my job now. This is what I do. And if I'm not accountable to myself, then, everything's going to fall apart. No one's going to be there to remind me to get out. She might, but, otherwise, no one's going to tell me, hey, you didn't list today. You need to do it. You haven't listed in 3 days. But eBay will remind you when you don't get that money flowing in. That stranger says, completely agree. I think the more people promoting higher will jack up the recommended. I don't believe the rate they're suggesting is based on more than 1 or 2 listings. And I just wonder, if it is entirely based on the current average, or is this just eBay trying to push maybe the average is 6%, right, for a certain category, but eBay wants it at 15, so they're going to tell everyone it's 10, 11, right? I think there's some truth to that, and shame on eBay for doing that because it's very deceptive. Love being picky says hi. Have you met Picky Ricky? You might get along well with Picky Ricky, but thanks for being here. Janet Hyder says, I have tried eBay rates and now I do 5%, and that's what's working perfectly for me. Mm-hmm. So you found what works for you. You don't necessarily have to be in the trend rate to make sales. As long as you can find a way to get your stuff on page one, I think that's the most important thing. Andy says, my cap is 4%. eBay can take it or leave it. Yeah. Biff Boffo says a cosigner takes 50%, but they also keep the stuff in a storefront for you. eBay wants 50%, but you store it. That's right. And you got to buy it. You got to store it. You got to deal with returns. You got to deal with all this stuff. And eBay is glad to use their storefront and to take your money and not give you any value back. That's what kills me. You know, they keep jacking up the rates. That's fine. But what value are you giving the sellers back in return? We still got to beg people to pay for their items. Mm-hmm. So you're not even delivering on what you promised. But I guarantee you have no problem delivering on changing your website to take more money from us. That never glitches out. How come it never glitches out when it comes to taking our money out of our account when the sale happens? I've never seen a glitch where, oh, we forgot to take money from you today. Sorry.
Yeah, but that'll never happen.
eBay kills me. Eddie Estrada says, hi, John. Seeing higher end sales per item this month. Not sure why, but it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good thing. Just keep plugging away. That's for sure. Yep. Sue says, hi, from Indiana. Tried 10% for a month. I didn't see any difference, so I went back to 4%. That's my limit. Mm-hmm. And you may not see a difference. You might see that you're going to get the same traction with 4% than you had at 10%. Yeah. Let's see. We've said before, if you're selling an iPhone, you don't even need to bother to promote. It's going to sell itself. You got a good price, a good quality listing. It's going to sell itself. Steve says, I had an item yesterday with suggested promo rate of 0%. I agree. That's gotta be a glitch.
We need more of those.
You got to report that glitch. You can't allow eBay to be broken like that.
I know.
Chastity Grant says, I waver between 8 and 10% promoted listings. I never promoted until March of this year, and it has had a huge impact on my sales growth. Mm-hmm. So, Chastity, it boils down to this. I'm sure it sucks to promote and give eBay an extra 8 to 10%.
It does.
But I'm sure you're just as disappointed with the extra money that's popping up in your bank account. And it's that old adage, stepping over $1 to pick up a quarter. It just doesn't make sense to not play eBay's game. But just don't play it as hard as they want you to play it. That's all I'm saying. Sunny in Las Vegas says it's a hot one today.
Oh, man.
That's why we're inside.
It's roasting outside. I cannot imagine that. So this Friday is when the temperatures are going to go up from today on. But by Saturday, we're supposed to be at 118. 118? Really?
Yeah.
Since when did this become hell?
Oh, it's been there. We've had it before. I can't wait till we get the monsoons in. I love that rain that comes in. But we're out in the garage and we have an AC unit that's hooked up with a hose outside, and it's cooling it down by 5 to 10 degrees.
You gotta stand right in front of it.
I mean, because when I turn that thing off, I'm dying. But it's tolerable out there with it on, but it ain't comfortable. I'll tell you that.
It's not cool.
Mom Knows Treasure says, when I promoted at 2%, I couldn't find my own listings. eBay hides listings that aren't promoted. They hide them they're being hidden on page 3, 4, 5, 10, 20. That's why you're not finding it. And neither is your buyer, because most buyers, look, they don't got all day to find what they're looking for. I mean, unless you just are doing it to kill time, to shop on eBay. People have I got things to do. I've got to find this thing that I'm looking for. And if I find something that meets that need, then I'll probably find it on page 1. And I ain't looking any further than that. And they probably would give up. But that's killing time.
I'm a different kind of a buyer.
But I'm not talking about the person that's sitting in their bed, listening to music or TV and just kind of mindlessly scrolling through Instagram and that kind of mentality. I'm talking about something happened here. I need to replace it. It's broken.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spend all day doing this. I got stuff to do. I'm going to find this thing, whatever I need, and I'm going to buy it and I'm going to move on.
True.
And if you're stuck on page 3 or 4, it ain't going to be your item they're buying.
Yeah. Are you seriously only at 3:15?
I am, because I've got a lot of good stuff to say on this live.
Good.
Keena says, "Who that, John? Want me to pull up on him?" No, that's all right.
No, we already outed him.
I hate doing that, but it's like if you can't be an adult about things, ask me if I'm wearing a shower cap or whatever because I have my hat on backwards. I mean, maybe there's some good channels for 12-year-olds out there, but it ain't this one. So yeah. Ernie says, "My niche is not worth promoted listings. Most of my customers are in manufacturing." Yeah. But okay, but you're making the sales. So I don't care if you promote or not. If you don't need to promote, don't, but make that money. That's what it's about. Henri Squaw's late, but you're here. That's all that matters. You're not all that
matters.
late.
You're not that late.
I'm just late getting to your comments.
He's late.
Janet says, since USPS change, I get so much better rates on Pirate Ship, $3 to $5 difference. I do like Pirate Ship. I do think that there's times you can use their, they call it soft pack, but it's cubic rates where you maybe have the bag in the box kind of thing where your package still looks like an envelope. And that will save you some money on shipping on priority rates. Biff Boffo says, I sell in very long categories and have not seen any help from promoted listings. None of my promoted listings selling better or worse than anything else. So if you sell the type of item, I think one type of item is, you have your old antiques, your one of a kind, one-off things that, wouldn't really have any sold comps. Well, I mean, why are you promoting? If that person comes along and is looking for your item or your type of item, you're going to pop up on page 1 anyway. So it doesn't make sense that you would use promoted listings. See, you look at promoted listings as a way to compete. If you have no competition for the item, why would you compete against yourself? So that's all that's for. We talk about the different things that you want to do to make your listing stand out, but and promotions is just another way to do that. But if you're the only one-of-a-kind seller, you don't need to do all these things because it's, you're going to get a sale. That person's looking for your item or not. Well, if they're looking for your item, promoted or not, you're going to get that sale. Joshua Isbell says, hi again. Well, hi again back to you. Thanks for being here. Biff says, I only did some promoted listings so that the algorithm recognizes that my store does use promoted listings. That may mean something or nothing. It means something to those listings, but only if those listings have competition. Otherwise, you're giving away free money to eBay. And then here's Mike. Happy birthday, Mike. Hi, John and Jenna and FAE family. Hope everyone had a good weekend. I celebrated my 68th birthday. eBay blessed me with some great sales. Nice birthday present. Well, awesome.
Aww.
Well, Mike.
Well, happy birthday, Mike. We love you.
We're going to have to take you to dinner when we see you in Cincinnati. But treat yourself in the meantime. Treat yourself to something nice if you haven't done so already. Devon says, we get coupons for our stores. Yes. If you have a store, you get, I think the basic is like $25. The next step up, I think I have one store that gives me a $25 coupon. The other store I get a $50. And what sucks is, okay, it's a coupon for eBay branded supplies. And we were quick to order those like the 2nd of July, went on and ordered that using the coupon. So you're using the coupon and you're only spending a few bucks out of pocket for taxes and whatever the overage is. And you get these stupid boxes and they're just out of whack. And I went to ship one of these, not the case on my shoulder, but we have the helmet cases, which would fit perfectly in a 12 by 6 by 6 box. But they cut the boxes wrong. And it looked like almost looks like I'm trying to stuff too much stuff in the box. And so I sent a message to the seller. I said, you know what, I've seen this before. I've never bothered to comment or say anything, but you guys got to do better with your boxes because this continues to happen too much. And within 2 hours, they sent me a reply saying, hey, we're going to send you out another batch. So that's cool, right? But I'm not one to complain to sellers and stuff, but it's like if the quality is getting just to the point where it's not even worth using the free coupon. And I certainly wouldn't go on and buy from that company for boxes just because the quality I've seen over the years isn't very good. Let's see. Nathan G says, do you have to have a store to reply to feedback? I've never figured out how to do it. Also, I only have positive reviews. So no, you don't have to have a store to reply to feedback. You go and click. The best way to do it is when you see your name and you see the number in parentheses next to it, click on that number. It'll take to all the feedback that you have, at least the recent feedback will show. And then to the right, it'll say, give you the option to reply. And then you just go to reply. You know what? It's no different than replying to someone on Instagram. It ain't going to help nothing. It may make you look a little bit more professional, if you just want to go through it. And, I think it's just a good look for your prospective buyers who are looking at feedback. But it's definitely not necessary. You'd probably be better served getting more items listed in that same amount of time. Yeah. Mary Langdon says, thanks for your advice on the opt-out of global shipping or eBay's international shipping program. It seems to just do something. I made a sale a few hours after, and then the next day and the next. Today is day 3 and still expect a ka-ching. I don't know why some people are finding that, just like I did, that you opt out of that program and your sales turn back on. You opt in and it's like something happens and your sales, while they still may happen, aren't the same. And for me, it's like, look, I got big stuff anyway. People aren't going to want to buy a toilet seat and have it shipped to Germany or whatever, right? It's just going to cost too much. So I'm not missing out anyway. So I opted out on that account, and actually both accounts. And honestly, I'm not looking back until I know for a fact that they fixed it. Comments like yours tell me they still haven't fixed it. Yeah. So I'm not going to go back for a while. Julie Dubois, you are still opted out of eBay international shipping. Yes. And I will stay that way until really, I don't know if I'll ever even look to go back until maybe I'm in the mode where, okay, my sales are dead. Maybe they start penalizing you for not being in international shipping. And now I'm trying new things to get my sales back to where they need to be. But it doesn't need to. I don't.
We don't miss it at all.
No,
I mean, it's not something that did any kind of beneficial anything to our store.
I mean, the benefit is, you don't have to deal with returns. But how many international returns? I mean, have you had since selling on eBay? I mean, I maybe have had 1 or 2, and for me, it's almost to the point where you could probably give them a better rate by just doing international shipping on your own. Like some items are like $14-15 on Pirate Ship.
Yeah.
And maybe you can even make a few bucks on the shipping based from what eBay charges as compared to what Pirate Ship charges. Laura says, I always use my phone at yard sales. It's my business. Need to be on my toes about profit these days. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But everyone uses their phone though. I mean, and who's to say you're not looking, oh, look, I found something for, Aunt Thelma, and I always use that.
Good old Thelma.
Yeah, maybe Thelma would want this thing, right? So let me send her a picture and, ask her if she wants it for $5. They don't know that. And unless you're walking into the yard sale with like a camera strapped on you, then that's a little different.
But even then, most people don't care. There's only those few Karens out there that are.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, it's the same people that care that someone bought their item on eBay and are drop shipping it over to some other thing. I mean, who cares? You got what you asked for it. Yeah. I mean, maybe you feel bad you couldn't get what they were getting for it. But the same thing is with the yard sales. They want $30 for it. You offer them 15. They, if they found out you're reselling it, they're getting rid of it. I don't know. That's just my thought on yard sales and people. People get kind of weird when they know that you're a reseller, and I don't know why. They're getting, I mean, they agree to the $15, then they should be happy. You're not stealing it. If you were shoplifting, that'd be a total different thing. Yeah. Gail says, I just sold a pinball promo plastic, free shipping, cost me $3.75 to ship. eBay charged him $15.95. Wow. Oh. Let's see. Callie Deb says, Ground Advantage is working perfectly for me. Yeah, I haven't had any issues. I ran labels today. No problem. Maya says, I didn't see the video you put out, but Rockstar Flipper also put out a video about the Ground Advantage price errors. So I'm not sure why you got attacked. Yeah, well, it's because they didn't look any further. They saw me say that, this is what is supposed to happen. They went to go run a label and it didn't happen, came up at a higher price. They did the thing that you probably shouldn't do. Call eBay because you're not going to get the right answer. I mean, when a glitch happens, you think an eBay rep really knows what's going on? No, they're going to tell you whatever it takes to get you off the phone. And they got that canned answer and saying that, it is what it is. And I was wrong on my video. And then I'm guaranteeing you, if I didn't block that person, they wouldn't have come back up today and say, hey, yeah, you know what? I was sorry for jumping down your throat. I doubt that person.
But it's not even, it didn't even stay on topic. I mean, they started, disrespecting him in a personal matter by, talking crap on what he wears. Yeah. I mean, come on, how childish do you have to be?
No, Biff, I respect your opinion. You've been with this channel for a long time. Mm-hmm. So Biff says, I always love to play devil's advocate and to challenge consensus thinking. I hope I never come across as rude. No, you don't. But I've had to, I carefully think about like, wow, really? And I'll go back and look at like previous comments from people like that. And I'm like, well, at what point were they ever positive? When did they ever leave? Because you could click on a person's profile and see the comments they've left on your channel. And so you look at it and say, well, when were they ever positive? When did they ever not attack me?
What did they bring positively to the channel?
Right.
Absolutely nothing.
If you're watching these lives just to pick at somebody and you can't contribute to the conversation, that's where I've got a problem. And Biff, you've contributed a lot. You play at devil's advocate, but I ain't up here trying to be the guy who's right all the time. There's been many times that I recall that I've said something that's probably wrong. And there's nothing wrong with correcting me, but do it in a way that's just not coming off as being that guy. So
don't be a dick. I didn't say it.
No.
I didn't finish it.
No, you're not going to finish it. Jack says, so I don't need to do a super chat to get a message read by you. Thanks from Denmark. Now I can afford pizza for dinner. I feel bad about
Jack.
that. No, it's just the difference is if you send a super chat, I kind of feel obligated to like.
It pops up and it's highlighted. That's why we see it pretty quickly. That's all. I mean, he reads nearly every comment.
Try to. Sometimes I'll skip through to get caught up. Like we get to be like the hour and a half mark.
Yeah.
It's time to kind of get going through some new comments. But, your only difference is if you do a super chat with a comment, I'll get to it like right away. Because I feel like if you're willing to do that, it's something I need to get to right now. Truman says, as 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, my listening started to the correct. I can't even speak English today.
Woo!
Try
that again.
What's new, right? As of 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, my listing started the correct ground advantage rate. What I have heard, the correct rate was showing on the buyer side, but not on the seller side. Now at 2 p.m. Central, I was running my labels. I think I ran a couple ground advantage rates, and I think I had one that was 15 ounces. That was like $6 going across the other side of the world, of course, the other side of the country. And the other one was 2 pounds. And it was one of those that I think I had free shipping. It was that case behind me, not this one, but the one you can't see for the little helmets. And that one was
baby helmets.
15 something free shipping. Well, I have the choice, $9 and change with ground advantage or like $12 with priority mail. Well, I try to make something off of that sale, so I went with the ground advantage. Tommy says, I cry a few times a week from your harassment, Biff. Brian H says, I shipped a golf club today and it was cheaper to ship your UPS ground than USPS ground advantage. Yes, because again, you're being penalized by USPS by having a long package. That didn't come off right. Sorry.
Woo!
Okay, but if you exceed a certain size package, then USPS is going to okay.
Trying to recover for him is terrible.
We're going on to the next remark. Bonnie Brink says, gardening did hi, watching you while I'm sorting.
Okay, here, honey.
No, I just can't do it. Trying to watch you while I'm sorting a nice lot of kids' clothes to sell at Once Upon a Child. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Julie says, you guys still opted out of eBay International Shipping? Yes, we still have. XDS36X. Howdy, y'all. Sales have been great, but very slow today. So come in to smash the sales button. Oops, the like button. Yes, hit that like button, guys. We have 186 people watching. And I'm sure at least 100 of you want to sell in the next 24 hours.
Larry Todd got 2 sales.
Okay. Devon says, my sales have been slow, but I'm still listing. Damn that vacation I took.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why when you take those vacations, you got to get those items in your draft and schedule them out while you're gone. Mike says, I didn't know that the new Ground Advantage program came with a commercial rate discount. Made a few bucks with every sale. Yeah, you'll still get the eBay discount on that. And I think it's like 20, 30, 40% sometimes. Brian says, I have not opted out, but haven't yet made an international sale. And, they say it gets an additional 70% of buyers in front of your item, but I don't think it's even close to that high. It's probably another 10 to 15% of people who would be willing to pay that extra amount just to buy your item, if we're being honest. Art says, I am in Wisconsin and I must have a different server than you, usually opposite than you in sales. It might be. I mean, I just think that whole server thing is, I mean, is it like the Easter Bunny? You guys know the Easter Bunny's real because he or she has been on this channel, but I don't know about servers. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they exist as far as the infrastructure to run eBay, but is it set up that way? I don't know. It's nice to talk about, I guess. Simple Beautiful says, what do you think about eBay International Shipping Program? I think in its design, it's well meant, but it's not implemented very well if people are losing sales when they opt in. See, Devon says it's the weekend after the 4th. Maybe people are recouping.
Yeah.
Or recouping. Great sales. Week after the 4th, the week of the 4th. She was telling me we're not going to get good sales anyway. We're going to be gone, and that weekend's going to suck with sales. It didn't suck. Andy says, thank you, John and Jenna, for the giveaway. You guys always think of others before yourself. Well, thank you. Glad to do it. We like to celebrate it with you guys, and we realize that we
like to give, and
we can.
When we can, and we're not good on the receiving end. We'd rather give. I realize that without you guys, hanging out with us every Monday and Friday, without you guys watching the videos that I put out, then this channel is really nothing. And it's still a small channel. It's not a huge channel, but you're helping us grow this channel and getting the word out. So I think it's awesome. I think it's great. Larry sold a mosquito net. Mm-hmm. Bam. Yeah, this is the right time. A lot of mosquitoes out there. Dixie Flipper, I use the new Ground Advantage as well, but I use Pirate Ship. It seemed to be all the same pricing roughly as first class as before. Yeah, and it was designed to be. There's a rate increase, I think, on Meteor Mail, like 7%. Did you miss Monster Loon?
Did I miss Monster Loon?
Yeah, you said that.
Sorry, I just passed you. Monster Loon, hello, Flippin' fam. Thanks for being here. Awesome that you are here. Biff says eBay has a confusing note on their label purchase page. It says USPS can't scan Ground Advantage labels until July 10th. Then it says to use Ground Advantage labels. But we're here on the 10th. So, yeah, eBay is known for all kinds of craziness on their site. Jovial Juggler, my prediction, Bonanza is going to run an ad commercial during the Super Bowl this year. Best 7 million in 30 seconds Bonanza could ever spend. But do they even have a budget for anything for 7 million? I don't know. That's me being kind of halfway serious.
Because, you didn't expect to see Temu on the Super Bowl either.
Yeah. Lisa says, hit the like. Yes, please. Laura says, question, if you bump up percentage, do you up or your selling price? No, I don't. I have enough profit in mine where if I'm like buying an item for $2, I have it listed for 40, 50, 60. I can bring it down to, I can even lower the price down to 40 with high rates and make what I'm looking to make. So, buying low helps you do a lot of things that most people can't. It helps you be so competitive. And that's where people have the problem. So they're buying high and then they kind of get upset that how can you promote at this? Like I got that email a couple weeks ago. How can you sell this item so cheap? It goes for this price. And it's because they can't get it at a very good price. And they're now starting to attack other sellers, which is, I have a problem with. But Glenda Bovana, sorry, I'm late, was feeding my face.
Well, at least you're here on a full tummy.
Yeah. Biff says the unionization of eBay sellers probably begins on a channel like this one. Yeah, but a channel like probably you got to have it, I'd say, like daily refinement size channel just to get enough to make an impact, I think. But of course, it gets everyone thinking. I think it's
very well.
Well, no, but it's just the point of the size of a channel. So I think that if more people than just a handful get on there and start complaining on these seller check-ins, instead of it being a rah, eBay is the greatest thing since sliced bread, it's more of a reality check. And then they go back to their meetings and say, well, that didn't go too well. There's a lot of PO'd people as compared to before. Then they're going to start wondering, why are people mad? They're going to start seeing more feedback in the lister when it asks you to leave feedback, and you start focusing on that one area over anything else. Now it's going to get their attention. They may not change anything because it's a money grab. They've got to answer to their shareholders. And, they have more accountability to their shareholders than they have to you and I. That is the truth. If one shareholder gets mad, it's going to hold a lot more volume than if one seller gets mad. Picky Ricky says Bonanza is an American Western television series, but it's also a site in the U.S. I don't think they have a bonanza.co.uk. You could check it, but I doubt it's there. So that's probably why you haven't heard it. Truman 316.
We've talked about it plenty of times.
My number one question to eBay expressions: why am I seeing other sellers' items in my listing? But it has to go deeper than that, because they're going to tell you, well, people are willing to pay X amount of money to have their item shown, and eBay is going to do whatever we can to promote those listings. Great. Okay. It's part of your new program, promoted listings. Why am I getting feed to death? And you're doing this to me. How about that question? Why do I have to pay 23+% to sell this item? And that should push people off your listing. By promoting that high should be sort of like a repellent for anyone else to be in your listing. I don't know. I don't think they should be doing it to anyone. But what I'm saying is there's got to be some benefit to promoting our listing, and to have someone else's listing smack dab in the middle that may be promoting at a lower rate than I am. I don't know. I've got a problem with that. Susan says, update on Aqualine Carrier.
Prosser's here.
My herbal remedy book arrived today, but not from Africa or the Middle East. It was from Amazon, in Amazon packing and Amazon packing slip. I ordered this book on eBay. Drop shipper. And you know what? Most people who actually sell overseas are going to drop ship, because this is not going to make any sense for them to ship it from another country. And another way you can see that they're drop shipping is they don't have the item. They have all stock photos. There's nothing wrong with supplementing your listing with stock photos if you show photos of the item itself or the box that's holding the item or whatever. But if you see nothing like that and it's all stock, chances are you're going to get it drop shipped. Henri Squaw says, did all my shipping today with several going out as ground advantage. No issues. But give it time. Let's see, if we get complaints from the delivery side, people like days after it's supposed to be here, if it gets there or not. Amazon seller says, I think they're paid to give you word salad to hope you just feel confused and belittled and go away. Yep. Yeah. William Simmons says the real boss is asleep in the background.
Yeah, this is true.
He's the boss when it's time to eat.
Yeah. Eat or use the restroom or anything else.
Brian H says, I'm an everything seller except clothes. What is a good platform other than eBay to cross list? Mercari is a good place to start. Now, you're not going to get as much on Mercari as you get on eBay for a lot of items. You can also go to maybe even Amazon. I mean, I hate to say it, Amazon's really tough, but you can go to Amazon, do a FBM, a fulfill by merchant, and pay $1 per item for listing. So if you're not doing the Seller Pro account, which is $40 a month, you do the $1 per item that you list. And so it's the same item you have on eBay, and maybe cross-post it. And if you get that cha-ching that Amazon sends you, you immediately go over to eBay and get rid of it. That's a good way to do it as well. And in some cases, you're going to get as much, if not more, on Amazon and it's going to sell faster because they have like 10x the traffic that eBay does. I beat COVID. All right. I think I beat it too. I beat it twice. Promoted listings is basically another eBay fee at this point. It is. Well, that's what it is. I mean, when you get your 1099 at the end of the year, it's chalked up as an eBay fee. John says, John Gaynor says, hi, John and Jenna, or Jenna and John. Before listing my items, I listened to Carly Simon. You're so vain. You probably think this listing is going to sell with other sellers' ads inside my ad, but sales have been really good.
I love that.
That's funny. Maya says, has anyone else gotten a ton of ads for Mercari recently on YouTube? I wonder if that may explain why my Mercari listings are doing so well, because Mercari is actually trying to attract buyers. I think you're right. That's one site we haven't done a lot of cross-posting recently, but I think it's something that we really need to start getting more stuff over to.
Yeah, we have a lot of work that needs to be done. We just have so many things that are going on.
But when you're doing well, when you're making great sales on eBay, you kind of are in the mode of like, well, I mean, I'd rather just keep doing what's working than to put it on to another platform. But it's when things aren't working so well.
We just had our first sale on Mercari in months.
Yeah. Anytime Picker Roman says the sales are non-existent and I would like to complain to Todd about it.
You mean Larry?
And then Todd is also responsible for USPS removing first class and parcel select. Todd's got a lot of pull.
Todd's got a lot of explaining to do.
Simple Beautiful says, people who do not promote pay final value fees too. Why would they want to lose their base customer? J&J, your thoughts? Well, they pay their final value fees as well. They'll pay like anything up to like 13 point something % once it's all said and done. But that's a smaller number than 23%. So I think eBay is really focusing on the folks that's going to give them more money. So, yeah, I think it's all about money. Henri Squaw says, okay, I'm making an admission. I caved a couple weeks ago and started promoting a smidge.
Oh,
but give it a try.
Look at you putting on those big boy panties.
Oh, gee. Truman says, here's another reason why they're showing those listings in a single click on listings. Does eBay get to keep click on promoted fee? You never trust the flu fart. That's my new product on eBay. How about this? How about a flu fart in a jar?
Somebody said it. It said right there.
Oh, wait. Where?
Steve said it.
Oh, okay. Flu fart in a jar. That is a one-of-a-kind item. I'm sure there's a lot of demand for it. Tommy said, suggested ad rate means nothing. I don't even pay attention to it. That's for people who don't know how eBay works. Yeah. J Ride Flip says, never caught you on a live before. I do a flat rate of 2.6% on all my listings, and it's been working for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, welcome to the live.
Thank you for being here. I am actively trying to catch up if I can.
I was wondering, why are you like pausing?
Because I'm trying to find some more comments. I'm trying to catch up. It's I'm still over a half an hour behind. Aubrey Razzo says, I'm 23 and I was practically born and raised on eBay. Long-time buyer, recently a seller.
Yeah, some people were, and their parents buy on eBay, their grandparents, depending on how old you are. eBay that's the place to go. But there are a lot of the younger generations that don't. And they don't even, they're like, eBay, what? They want Amazon quick and what?
I finish.
Fast.
Okay. Did they come to get our packages?
That's what I was going to go look for.
Okay. So it's because it's one of those things. Did USPS come?
That's what I'm checking.
Oh, okay. So FedEx came.
FedEx came.
Okay. All right. Had to get that out of the way. Tommy says, eBay isn't the problem. eBay is fine. The person running the eBay store is the problem. Yeah. I mean, I have no problem. Look, I in a perfect world, I wouldn't be playing the promoted listing game. But it's not a perfect world, and we either need to adapt or eBay is going to run all over us. And I choose to adapt and pay more. But, it all boils down to the seller. Are you sourcing properly? Are you even playing the game properly? So I think that's a question that all of us should be asking ourselves. Aubrey Razzo says, cross-listing 10% of my 500 plus item store on at least 2 other platforms. It saved me this summer. So many dead eBay items going right away on Mercari and Facebook Marketplace. That's one thing. Facebook Marketplace, I kind of tinkered with a little bit last year. I'm not a big fan. A lot of people are, but you know what? There's so many different marketplaces out there. You just got to find what works for you. Teabag says pay to play. Yes, you got to pay to play. That's for sure. Let's see. Jerry's in the house. Hi, everyone. Watching a thunderstorm heading my way. I'm hoping that we get some of those monsoons out here with thunderstorms and all that. That's so great. I love it. You just go outside and it's like watching fireworks. I don't know. We're amazed out here in the West. We're amazed by weather, and I love watching it. Tommy says, Roman, you and Archie should join forces. 2 guys who love YouTubers podcast. That would be great. That would be awesome. But no one would watch, but it would still be awesome. Tommy says, who would have thunk it gets hot in the desert, Jenna? Yeah, but it's still worth talking about, I think. I think it's if it wasn't so hot out here, it would be a lot easier. I'd spend more time out in the garage getting stuff done. Righteous Score says, people do not want to pay promoted on principle, but principle doesn't pay the bills. That's right.
That's right.
You got to adapt to what's getting that money into your account.
Yes, they can.
Thank you. The Monster Loon says, I noticed Ground Advantage limits at 70 pounds. Does that mean I can take my listings that are just over a pound out of priority? It would save on shipping, Monster Loon, but what's going to happen is it's going to slow down your packages. So that may in turn slow down your sales if your buyer is someone that says, I'm going to get it by Saturday with your priority rate in there. But now you change it to Advantage and it's not going to get there till Monday or Tuesday. That might persuade someone to look elsewhere. So be very careful with that. Yeah, you'll save a few bucks. I think you're better off using the standard option or maybe even the expedited shipping option, and then just choosing which one works best for you, that type of thing. Tommy says, sure, if you want to rank lower in search, switch to Ground Advantage. Maya says, Tommy, how do you ship your shoes out? For my clothes over a pound, I usually use priority mail, flat rate envelopes. Do you use the padded flat rates for the shoes? So I'm curious what Tommy has to say about that. I can say if the shoe is small enough to fit, then it will get shipped that way for sure. Yeah, I was going to say we must have quit. The shoe fits, it must have quit. The Tommy Bernard podcast says UPS or priority depending where they are going for my shoes. Women 7.5 and smaller. I do padded flat rate if not too wide. Let's see. Tommy says cubic is cheaper here and there. I just don't switch back and forth to save a buck or two. But if you have enough packages, let's say if you have a bunch of packages you have to ship and 10 can be shipped by cubic, that's $20 you just saved. Tommy doesn't think they're going to strike, but I think what's going to happen is it's going to strike. There's going to be a strike and for a few days, and then they'll come to their senses and come to some kind of conclusion. I don't know. We're going to have to see, but something I plan on having a FedEx person here, my FedEx rep, we're going to have him here very soon in the live. We can talk about it kind of more about how the business works, because there is an impact already to FedEx. And I got to tell you, the 21st is kind of the date you want to be looking at. I think it's a solid date. It's a solid 10 days from the beginning of the potential strike, where you don't want to be shipping UPS past that point. Because if you do, you're kind of taking the stance where you don't think there's going to be a strike. But if that happens to be a strike and your package hasn't been delivered yet and it's stuck in the UPS system, you're going to have an upset buyer opening up, item not received cases. You just don't want that. John M says, I'm promoting at 4% across the board. Sales are slow, but it's that time of the year. I've been so busy and it's been hard to list daily. Ground Advantage is all good now. So yeah, you said it. The summer slowdown has many parts to it. Some people think it's a myth. It's really not. Your buyers are focused more on their activities and their lives. Most of us sellers, like we're going again in a couple weeks on a weekend where we would normally be listing stuff. We're going to be out and about. You're spending less time with your own store. And when you have a combination of less buyers and less activity in your store, it is going to lead to slower sales. Duncan VR. I don't need more sales. I hit the like and just got another one. Look at that.
Hey,
that's awesome.
A sale's a sale.
Jerry Johnson, John, you're so funny. Thanks for the laugh. Sometimes it just comes up. I can't. It's not planned.
He usually doesn't have a filter.
John M., when you list on vacation posting listings, those new ones do not get added to your vacation. Just found this out the hard way. So I just don't go on vacation.
We don't go on vacation mode.
Yeah.
Ever.
So when we go to Cincinnati for the weekend, we'll be gone like 4 or 5 days. I'm just going to have it set to where I have a little bit more handling time, and every day I'm going to change it until I get back to my same day handling. CM Retro Gaming. I'm still in the international shipping program. I've had 2 items sell in the program over the last month. How are your other sales though? Are they on par with what you were doing before this whole international thing, or have you noticed a decline? Maybe it's not a summer slowdown for you. Maybe it's just you're opted in, and maybe you should try opting out. Just something I'd recommend.
Yeah, but maybe, because we do want to know when or if it ever gets fixed, whatever the problem is with it dampens your regular sales. So we do want to know if you are opted in when it fixes itself.
Yes.
Thomas
says they have a tech blog that's worth reading. Learning eBay is more important than anything. Yeah, it's a good idea to learn eBay. I just don't know if, I'm not familiar with that blog. Maybe I need to go looking for it, because I definitely want to learn a little bit more of what's going on behind the scenes. And then after I'm done reading it, I'll be qualified to probably program for their website based on how screwed up it's been. Mom Knows Treasures. Did you guys manually change your listings shipping to Ground Advantage? Well, we changed our shipping policies. So we changed those up, and they're all in line with Ground Advantage and not First Class. CM Retro says it's an unfair playing field to begin with. Charity sellers are paying way less in fees, which means they can offer free shipping and lower prices on relatively cheap items. And not only that, but there's stores that are the size of, you're talking, when he did have a store, Daily Refinement had a big store. He got it. He mentioned it. He just didn't tell the actual fee he was paying, but he got a kickback in fees. You got to know that Tech and Sports, a lot of those stores that have big stores out there, they're getting hooked up with a lower fee. They're asked to sign an agreement non-disclosure agreement not to talk about it. So how is that? How does that make you feel that the larger stores are getting set up with these lower fees, and a lot of folks out there with smaller stores are just struggling through and just trying to make promoted listings work?
Go back up.
What did I miss?
Miss Prosser is back.
Prosser. Hey, I've been MIA for a while, sorting through some personal stuff, but I'm back now. Awesome.
Yay!
Wonder where you were.
We are so happy you're back, and I hope everything
awesome.
You're on the other side of whatever else you were dealing with.
Welcome back. Nice to see you back. Brian H says, I manually changed each of my listings to Ground Advantage. Took all day. Next time I'll look into doing that bulk edit. Yeah, bulk edit probably would have saved you some time, I'm thinking. Sherry Young says eBay may be losing money putting lower price listings on our listing. Both the listed and competition promote at 10%, but buyer gets the lower priced item. eBay doesn't make as much. But I don't know what they're thinking. I just don't know what they're thinking by putting listings in our listing. It just doesn't make sense. Rebecca says, has anyone ever looked at a buyer's feedback and it's 100%, but when you start reading feedback, there's multiple negative feedbacks with a positive? I haven't. I've seen that, but that person actually had some negatives. But yeah, it's a thing. It's not something I endorse really, but I know that there's people on there who will put a false positive because we can't leave negatives for buyers. Tegan says, hey, I'm a Gen Z and I buy lots of auto parts on eBay and that's all I sell. But I think you're more the exception than the rule. There's a lot of people, if you approach random Gen Zers on the street and ask them, if they know what eBay is, I think there's a number of them that would be like, no, I haven't heard of that. It wouldn't surprise me any. Tim Clark says, ex-eBay seller, it was a great decision to leave this platform. No regrets to sell on high bid, no returns, no hassle, flat rate fee, no shipping out. Glad to leave eBay after 18 years. That's another place to look. Look at sites like that to see if you can get your stuff on there and move. John Doe says 96 in Michigan. I mowed 2 acres and did some weeding in the garden. I'll take 96 right now.
I'll take 96.
Still Laughing says, I don't accept returns, and I just got my first request because the sneakers didn't fit his girlfriend and asked to exchange them for another size I don't have. Do I accept the return and offer a partial refund or say no? Take the return.
Take the return.
Pay for the label. I know you don't want to pay for the label, but it's the cost of doing business. That's just the bottom line. Let's see, got any more? I'm trying to catch up. We're getting close. I'm getting very close. Amazon seller says, if you use shipping policies, it's easy to change the handling time when you leave town, or if shipping rates change, you can just adjust with a few clicks. Yeah. Yep. John M says, good idea, John, with the just extending handling time. But remember, when doing a bulk update, anything with the best offer sent by seller will not change, which is why I will then go in and do a end item sell similar. So anything that grays out where I can't do that, I'll just go, if I need to make the change in that item bad enough, I'll just do end item sell similar. Westlake Market says, I've been opted in for 2 weeks and my sales have been good. And I'm not saying everyone is going to have bad sales by being opted into international shipping, but my experience, it's like 50-50. Like half the people I talk to are like, yeah, I opted out and my sales like turned back on. Thomas says, eBay patents are also great to read. You can see in the patents about them visibly in search rank. Okay, I'll have to check that out. John Duo says, I changed about 700 listings for first class to Ground Advantage this morning. Took less than a minute. When you bulk edit, it's very fast. Flippin' Sports Guy says, just make sure you know how to hold compass correctly. I think I missed that comment where that was for.
There's an ongoing.
Yeah. Aubrey says, as for my friends being 21 to 27, they know what eBay is and they're just scared they'll get burned on it. So maybe it's they don't have the experience, right? So, I mean, they may know what it is, just like they may know what a lot of things are, but they avoid it because they don't know. Anytime Picker Roman says, I recently found out from eBay rep that if the buyer has insufficient address and USPS tracking shows that during delivery attempt, eBay will cover seller with the seller protection, because that delivery attempt is considered as a delivery and that qualifies for that. Yes. Flipping Sports Guy says, I think the opt-out or opt-in of international sales was just an excuse people use for slow sales. But here's the real deal. I mean, literally, we had opted in on, I had to set up my listings to be opted in correctly, which means having your international turned off of your policies, because eBay automatically tries to opt you in. But if you have international set up in your business policies, that overrides being opted in. So as soon as I went in, and this is like days of having crappy sales. I mean, I was on fire like I am now, and then no reason sales just shut off. So I waited 3 days, and both accounts, mind you, were doing this. I left the other one alone. My main account, I switched over. Within hours, the switch flipped on and my sales were back to normal. And so I said, okay, a couple more days passed. The other store did the same thing, and sales, which were never great to begin with, were at least happening on that store. So that tells me all I need to know. And then, okay, so I'm just one guy. Coincidence, right? People, like some of the comments in this very live stream, were putting comments in that video that I made saying, I just did this and thank you so much. My sales went from nothing the last week to now I'm making sales. I just think it's not a coincidence. And, look, I don't make excuses. I look for reasons, but, look, I'm making great sales. So I'm not going to be here, boohooing eBay's website, as the reason, because I think there's a lot more to it. I think it's easier to say that eBay is the problem when the seller needs to fix whatever they have going on. I've seen so many people approach me, wanting me to look at their store, and then I give them the truth and they never even say thank you. They're gone. I think that the truth hurts some people, and they want me to come back and say, well, it's because you're opted in or eBay is the problem, and it's not. eBay has problems, but eBay isn't the reason why your sales are slow over a long period of time. Maybe like my 27-hour window I experienced this last weekend, maybe there was something going on with eBay that during that period of time my sales were slow. But But if we're talking over a long period of time, it's much more than eBay. Tommy says it was causing business policy conflicts. My sales dropped to nothing for 3 days till opting out, then back to normal immediately. See, and Tommy is the last one that's going to say that something's preventing him from making sales. So, I think there's something there.
Jovial says MLB home run derby tonight.
Yeah, I don't care.
You don't care?
Nope. I'm just kind of bummed out of baseball. I'm just, when my team is just on the fritz of just falling off the face of the earth. And so I get to this mode where I start looking forward to football. And even our best player, Shohei Ohtani, he's not even in it, which I'm glad he's not. But if he was, I'd watch. I have no interest. It's just blah. I just feel blah. It's like a seller who hasn't made a sale in a month, and you tell him, hey, let's go out and list. You're not motivated to watch it. So, Larry Todd, Silver Hair Stacker says, John, don't ever look at my store. I don't want you to die laughing. No, it's not that. I guarantee you, I've seen a lot of bad stores, like stores where they have listings with 2-word titles. Okay. I've seen some bad stores. So, let's go ahead and leave it there. We are 1 hour and 50 minutes in. We had a really good live stream, I think. A lot of good stuff to talk about. It's just one of those things where eBay is going to keep pushing the envelope, and I think each and every seller is going to have to draw a line and stop playing this game. Don't play the game the way eBay wants you to play it. Play the game, but set a guideline for yourself. For me, it's 10%. For you, it may be a lot less than that, might be even more, but you got to figure that out for yourself. But yet it's just another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent week. Try to get you some videos here throughout the week. May or may not. We'll see. But for one thing's for sure, we will definitely see you guys on Friday. So have a good rest of your week, and we will talk to you guys very soon.
Bye, guys.